Hello, it's Lorena Manzanita, sex and relationship coach and trauma resolution practitioner. Welcome to the fourth video in a relational resourcing series. I've talked about the 4 R's. We started off with recognizing, meaning tuning into your body and recognizing what you need and want. In relationship, 2, which is reaching. So once you know what you want and need, engaging in the skill of reaching for another, asking for what you want. And then the 3rd was receiving. So once you've identified what you need and want and asked for it, it's another skill to actually take in that goodness. So the 4th one, the 4th skill in the mix is something that can be that can infuse all those 3 other skills, and it's called releasing. You know, when you really want something and then at some point you just release your attachment to it, and then suddenly that thing, that connection, that little boon, that gift that you're hoping and longing for suddenly becomes more available. Yeah, there's a bit of a magic in learning how to release your attachment to something. It creates a bit more spaciousness, it creates more creativity, creates more patience, creates more enjoyment in the here and now. And releasing attachment is much easier said than done. Of course, like all things. So I wanted to introduce to you a little practice that was taught to me by a man named Mark Silver, who's a Sufi business coach of all things. I highly recommend his work if you're an entrepreneur in a small business and you get use a little support around all things business related. Feel free to check him out. I got this little gem from him. I found it super applicable in all sorts of different contexts. And in the practice of releasing attachment, I have found this particular exercise invaluable. So let me introduce it to you. So we're talking about relational resourcing, right? At least in this 4-part video series. When we're trying to release an attachment to something, it could be really helpful to first identify the kind of top of mind thing you want from another, right? I want so-and-so to tell me fill in the blank and be available 3 days a week at the very least, if not more, and share with me that he's super into me and really wants to prioritize me, right? Totally understandable, beautiful human desires that I think a lot of hearts might want and need. And what happens when you don't get that immediately? Maybe you've named it. Maybe that's not available. This exercise is about identifying that and then distilling deeper and deeper into the essence of what you might want from that experience that you've so beautifully laid out. And then learning to receive not from that person, not from that particular circumstance that you've imagined, but receiving from source itself. So all those 3 other skills, recognizing what you need, reaching for what you need, and receiving what you need, yes to all of that. And in this releasing practice, I'm asking you to reach towards the divine. Whatever that means to you. Source, the universe, the quantum field. Loving grace is my favorite moniker nowadays for that something bigger than me. It's totally up to you. Find a word, a phrase that resonates with you. I have found when we can lean into something bigger than us, that lives in the unseen worlds and is omnipresent and available if we can only direct our attention to it. When we can rely on that quality of consciousness, magic starts to happen. It gets much easier to release what we're longing for and also call it in. I just named a circumstance or a little wish that I personally have been longing a bit more for. So I'm going to go through the exercise that Mark Silver shared with me. And here we go. Name the thing you want, and then ask yourself a question, and what would I receive from that? Partner that loves me, that's available, that prioritizes me. What would I receive from that? And when I tune into that question, my heart opens up a little bit more. I feel a little bit tenderness. And the answer that comes to mind is assurance that I'm loved. And then I ask the question again, what would I receive from that? What would I receive from the assurance that I'm loved? Yeah, unconditional love. Just that, right? And you'll find when you could ask that question, and what would I receive from that? And what would I receive from that? 1 time, 5 times, 15 times. Eventually it's going to distill into something really pure that sounds like only the divine can really fulfill that need and want. And so once you receive that level of awareness, and in this moment it's unconditional love, I invite you, and I'm going to practice that myself, but to reach out towards Source, this moment, loving grace, and then just practice on an embodied, energetic, emotional level what it would be like to receive exactly that. Not from the person that you're originally thinking of, but directly to the source. And so I'm going to practice that in this moment. Just reaching out to the divine in my consciousness and asking for unconditional love. And practice receiving that. And when I do that, I feel a little bit more tenderness and sweetness in my heart. I feel a little movement of grief and tenderness around, just the times I haven't felt that way, that I haven't felt unconditionally loved. I could feel the longing in those tears, and these tears, in this heart, and I'm going to just continue to give that up to Source, to loving grace. Make myself more available to unconditional love. And I can feel my belly softening. And I can feel my heart widening. More tenderness. Also deeper breaths. And I could almost feel that assurance, those almost whispers of assurance from the divine, from spirit. Yeah, that I am loved. And now when I think about my partner, my love, there's more of an awareness that I am loved. Yeah. And he's loving me as he does. And whatever availability he may or may not have, the fact that I am loved is not diminished. And I can think of him with more of an open heart. So that's the practice. That's utilizes all the 3 other skills, but the trick here is bringing in the divine. I hope you play with it. It's good stuff. It's a good reminder for myself. Thank you for sharing some time and sharing your attention with me. Marina Manzanita. If you're curious about this and other tools that you might get to incorporate into your life and your pursuit of love, feel free to reach out to me on my website, which you'll find in the text below. All right. Till next time.